Hi students, this is A. Mandri Kumar Rajesh. In this video, we are going to discuss a topic called tapetum and its type. Tapetum is the innermost layer of the anther wall. Tapetum is the innermost layer of the anther wall. Then it is developed from or it is derived from primary parietal layer. So the tapetum is derived from primary parietal layer. So the tapetums are parietal in origin. Then the third point, it is formed beneath the middle layer. So this is the middle layer. Tapetum formed beneath the middle layer. So tapetum வந்து எதுக்கு கீழ தான் ஃபார்ம் ஆகும்? மிடில் லேயருக்கு கீழ தான் ஃபார்ம் ஆகும். So it is formed beneath the middle layer. Then the morphology of the tapetum cells. Tapetum cells are large in size. They are bigger in size. So tapetum cells are large in size. It contains dense cytoplasm. It contains dense cytoplasm with prominent nucleus. With prominent nucleus. With prominent nucleus, and the cells are radially elongated. The cells are radially elongated. Radially elongated. So the cells of the tapetum is large in size. It contains dense cytoplasm with prominent nucleus, and the cells are radially elongated. Then the main function of the tapetum is it provides nutrition to the developing pollen grain. So tapetum provides nutrition to developing pollen grain. Then I already mentioned the tapetum is parietal in origin, but in some cases they are dual in origin. For example, Alectra thomsoni, the tapetum is dual in origin. Dual in origin. That means a portion of tapetum is derived from the parietal layer and a portion of tapetum is derived from connective tissue. So that tapetum is called as dual in origin. And that tapetums are dual in origin. Example, Alectra thomsoni. The Alectra thomsoni la tapetum வந்து connective tissue ல இருந்து ஒரு portion develop ஆகுது. Then இந்த பிரைமரி parietal லேயர்ல இருந்து ஒரு போர்ஷன் டெவலப் ஆகுது. அதனால அந்த tapetum நம்ம என்ன சொல்றோம்? dual in origin னு சொல்றோம். சரிங்களா? So parietal லேயர்ல இருந்து டெவலப் ஆகக்கூடிய tapetum P tapetum. The tapetum which is derived from the parietal layer, they are called as P tapetum. In case of the connective tissue, the tapetum layer is derived from the connective tissue. That tapetum is called as C tapetum. சரிங்களா? Then the tapetums are dimorphic. ஏன் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, why? P tapetum is smaller in size. P tapetum is smaller in size. While in the case of C tapetum, they are larger in size. Larger in size. That is why this tapetum is dimorphic tapetum. This tapetum is called this dimorphic tapetum. ஏன் அது dimorphic tapetumனு சொல்றோம்னா இந்த parietal tapetum வந்து smaller in size இருக்கு. அதே connective tapetum பாத்தீங்கன்னா they are larger in size. So they are differ in their morphology. That is why they are called as dimorphic tapetum. So I give you a brief introduction about the tapetum and its characteristic features. Let us talk about the types of tapetum. Tapetum can be classified into two types based on their behavior. They are glandular tapetum or secretory tapetum or parietal tapetum. Parietal tapetum. Then the second type is called as invasive tapetum or amoeboid tapetum or periplasmodial tapetum. So tapetum can be classified into two types based on their behavior. They are glandular or secretory or parietal tapetum. The second type is invasive or amoeboid or periplasmodial tapetum. Now I am going to tell about glandular tapetum. In glandular tapetum, the tapetal cells are intact. They remain in their original position. They do not disintegrate throughout the development of microspores. Glandular tapetumல பாத்தீங்கன்னா அந்த tapetal cells வந்து எப்படி இருக்கும் அதே பொசிஷன்ல தான் இருக்கும். They remains as such. அதோட ஷேப் மாறாது. They do not break down. They do not disintegrate. But it can secrete plasmodium. It can secrete plasmodium. The tapetum cells of glandular tapetum can secrete plasmodium. Plasmodium is nothing but a mass of protoplasmic content. அதுதான் நம்ம என்னன்னு சொல்றோம் plasmodiumனு சொல்றோம். சரிங்களா? Glandular tapetum என்ன பண்ணும்? It can secrete mass of protoplasmic content around the pollen grain. Around the pollen grain. அந்த mass of protoplasmic content தான் நம்ம என்னன்னு சொல்றோம்? Plasmodium அப்படின்ட்டு சொல்றோம். சரிங்களா? Then the glandular tapetum is the most common type of tapetum which are present in the plants when compared to amoeboid or invasive or periplasmodial tapetum. Most common type of tapetum என்ன அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா glandular tapetum தான். Then this type of tapetum is reported in plants like Helleborus foetidus, then Mirabilis jalpa, and etc. So in the glandular type of tapetum is reported in plants like Helleborus foetidus, Mirabilis jalpa. Then in Helleborus foetidus, the scientists they named as Ecklin and Godwin. In Helleborus foetidus, Ecklin and Godwin have recorded the formation of Ubish body. Formation of Ubish bodies. So in the Ecklin and Godwin அப்படிங்கிறவங்க எதை ரெக்கார்ட் பண்றாங்க? Ubish body அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு பாடியை ரிப்போர்ட் பண்றாங்க. எந்த பிளான்ட்ல? Helleborus foetidus. This Ubish body can contribute a material called sporopollenin. So this sporopollenin is an important material for the thickening of exine of pollen grain. இந்த sporopollenin வந்து எதுக்கு ரொம்ப இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் பாத்தீங்கன்னா the thickening of exine of pollen grain. So இந்த sporopollenin வந்து Exine அப்படிங்கிறது outer wall of the pollen grain. So the exine is made up of sporopollenin. இந்த sporopollenin produce பண்றது யாரு? This Ubbish body. So these Ubbish bodies are reported in the plant Helleborus by the scientist Eklund and Godwin. Eklund and Godwin. So glandular tapetum na enna? In glandular tapetum, the tapetal cells are intact in their original position throughout the development of microspores. Tapetal cells do not disintegrate. They remain as it can secrete plasmodium, that is protoplasmic content, mass of protoplasmic content around the pollen grains. So that's all about glandular or secretory or parietal tapetum. Now I am going to tell about invasive or amoeboid or plasmodial tapetum. Let me tell about the second type of tapetum called invasive or amoeboid or periplasmodial tapetum. In invasive tapetum, the inner and outer wall of tapetal cells break down and it releases plasmodium mass, that is mass of protoplasmic contents are released from the tapetal cells due to the breakdown of inner and outer walls of the tapetal cell, and it moves towards the pollen mother cells. So pollen mother cells are embedded in the protoplasmic content which are released by the invasive tapetal cells. ஏன் இதை invasive or amoeboid or periplasmodial tapetum சொல்றாங்கன்னா, இந்த tapetal cellsல இருக்கக்கூடிய content வந்து என்ன ஆகுது? ரிலீஸ் ஆகுது. அதாவது plasmodium released due to the breakdown of the inner and outer wall of the tapetal cells. அப்படி ரிலீஸ் ஆகும்போது அது எதை நோக்கி மூவ் ஆகுது? moves towards the megaspore mother cell. So மூவ் ஆகுறதுனால that movement looks like amoeba. So அதனால என்ன சொல்றாங்க? amoeboid tapetum னு சொல்றாங்க, and it produces the plasmodium, mass of protoplasmic content. அதனால periplasmodial tapetum னு சொல்றாங்க. Invasive means is move towards it, that plasmodium content moves towards the megaspore mother cell. So it invaded through the cells. அதனால இது என்ன சொல்றாங்க? invasive tapetum னு சொல்றாங்க. சரிங்களா? So the plasmodium content moves towards the megaspore mother cell, and the megaspore mother cells are pollen mother cells are embedded in the amoeboid tapetum. So இது வந்து என்னன்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா, this cells are called as megaspore mother cell and they are embedded in amoeboid tapetum. It releases the protoplasmic content. சரிங்களா? So the difference between amoeboid and the secretory or glandular tapetum என்ன அப்படின்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா, in glandular tapetum the cells of the tapetal cells are not break down, they are not disintegrate, they remain as such. While in the case of amoeboid tapetum, the tapetal cells break down and releases the plasmodium content, and pollen grains are embedded in that tapetum content, that is the protoplasmic content. This is the major difference between glandular and the amoeboid tapetum. Example for amoeboid tapetum. The amoeboid tapetum are seen in the anther of plants like Typha, Alisma, Tridescantia, and Butamus. So please check this spelling, Butamus. So the tapetum, that is the amoeboid tapetum, is seen in anther of Typha, Alisma, Tridescantia, and Butamus. Then in both amoeboid and glandular tapetum, the DNA content increases during meiosis. The amoeboid tapetumலயும் the glandular tapetumலயும் DNA content எப்போ increase ஆகும்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா during meiosis. So that's all about the types of tapetum. let me teach you the functions of tapetum. Tapetum is a nutritive tissue which can provide nutrition for the developing pollen grain. Tapetum plays an important role in the pollen wall formation due to the presence of Ubish body. Ubish body can produce the material called sporopollenin. The Ubish body are able to produce a material called sporopollenin. So the sporopollenin mainly involving the thickening of a wall called exine. So the sporopollenin வந்து எதுல இருக்கும் அப்படினு பாத்தீங்கன்னா exine of the pollen grain. So it provides the thickening. சரிங்களா? So sporopollenin is very important. It is present in the outer wall of the pollen grain called exine. Then the plastids of the tapetal cell synthesize materials like pollen kit and tryphin. So this pollen kit and tryphin are very important. These materials prevent the pollen grain from the ultraviolet rays. Prevent the pollen grain from ultraviolet rays. So ultraviolet rays can damage the pollen grain. But this pollen kit and tryphin material prevent the pollen grain from ultraviolet rays. The tapetal cells can produce an enzyme called callase. The tapetal cell can produce an enzyme called callase, which can degrade the callose around the pollen tetrads. So the pollen tetrads, that is the pollen grains, are orientation in form called pollen tetrads. So the pollen grains are attached or agglutinated with the help of callose. So the callose ஆலதான் என்ன இருக்கும், அக்ளுனேட் ஆயிருக்கும், ஒட்டிக்கிட்டு இருக்கும். சரிங்களா? அந்த pollen grain. So அந்த ஃபார்மை நம்ம என்னன்னு சொல்லுவோம், pollen tetrads னு சொல்லுவோம். So tapetum releases or produces an enzyme called callase. This enzyme can degrade the callose around the pollen tetrads. அந்த pollen tetradsல இருக்கக்கூடிய callose என்ன பண்ணிரும், degrade ஆயிரும். So the pollen tetrads are separated and they are called as pollen grains, which can degrade the callus around the pollen tetrads. அப்ப நமக்கு என்ன கிடைச்சிரும், individual, the pollen tetrads are separated, individual pollen grain என்ன ஆயிரும் நமக்கு கிடைச்சிரும். So tapetum only produces the enzyme callase. Tapetum is essential for the formation of viable pollen grains. So tapetum is very important because it only produce viable pollen grains. viable vigorous இருக்கும். சரிங்களா? ஆக்டிவான, அதாவது fertile pollen grain இருக்கும். Tapetal degeneration during meiotic stages causes male sterility in petunia. Example என்ன கொடுத்திருக்காங்க, petunia. If tapetal cells are degenerated during meiosis, it causes male sterility. சரிங்களா? மலட்டுத்தன்மை உண்டு பண்ணிரும். எக்ஸாம்பிள் என்ன கொடுத்திருக்காங்க, in petunia. petunia plantல and the degeneration of tapetum நடக்குது during meiosis. It leads to male sterility. Then the proteins present in the exine of the pollen wall are essential for recognition of compatible pistils. So the proteins are very important for the recognition of compatible pistils. If the protein is absent, the stigma rejected the pollen grains. So the stigma எப்படி அந்த pollen grain receive பண்ணனும் பாத்தீங்கன்னா with the help of this protein. இப்போ இந்த protein இல்ல அப்படினு பாத்தீங்கன்னா stigma என்ன பண்ணாது, recognize பண்ணாது, it rejects that pollen grain. So the protein is very important and that protein is produced by tapetal cell. So that's all about the types of tapetum and function of tapetum. If you have any doubt, please clarify with me. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you.